Hi, and welcome to Homo Ludens, the channel on history and board games. I'm here today with a friend, Brian Asklev. I'm saying this because people want, of course, content creators to be open about their potential bias. So Brian is my friend, and I like making fun of his designs. So if I'm overly critical, it is my bias. I'm making fun of Brian. This is normal, but I'm really super, super happy to have you, Brian, on the show for the second recording of 1812 Fateful March. We actually had a first recording with Stuart, who I would like to thank, and I'm really sorry that he had to wake up early and do a recording of the previous play. But I was pretty upset at the time because I was annoyed by the version of the vessel module. So, so there was a new version that was released that corrects a lot of the issues that I had in the previous one, and I thought that instead of having people hearing me complain half of the time about the vessel module, we could re-record a new one where I'm a bit more focused on the game. I think that would be a good thing. And yeah, thanks, Brian, for going along with some of my madness and taking the time once again to re-record this.
My
But yeah,
pleasure.
good. Maybe, Brian, for the people who wouldn't know you, do you maybe want to briefly present yourself, where you're from, and who you are as, I guess, maybe an individual, but also more importantly as a designer?
Whew, that's a big question.
Yeah, big. We only big questions here.
Yes. I'm Brian. I'm 44 years old and from Denmark. I've designed games since 2010. Yeah, as a designer, I'm becoming more and more enthusiastic about simpler games that you can actually play instead of just reading the rules to and having on the shelf.
And just to maybe highlight what you mean by simpler games, maybe it would be nice to say what were
Yes,
the first games
low,
that you
lower
designed.
rules complexity, but
Yeah,
not
yeah.
lower strategic depth.
Yeah, of course. But I think for people to understand what you mean, I think it would be nice to talk about your first designs for GMT a
Yes.
decade ago.
Yeah, my first two designs were in the Musket and Pike Battle series, which is a tactical 17th century series of games that are really cool, but also a bit on the complex side. So they will require you to do some homework before playing them.
It's a quite complex tactical system. Not the most complex, but it's quite complex. Well, definitely not my kind of game. I was.
No, you
I think
like
they
it
are.
when you play
Yeah, it was a bit
it.
much, but yeah, I've been really excited about some of the designs that you've been doing. I think the first game that I played tested of yours was When Whales Fight, which is relevant to this discussion because there will be some design connection between the system. So for people who don't know, When Whales Fight is the second game in the series that was started by help me, Brian.
Strike of the Eagle.
Yeah, Strike of the Eagle. Yeah, sorry about this. So the same system, but applied to the war in Korea. And in a lot of ways, 1812 is a successor to this. Like it draws some inspiration from it, but it takes this is like, but it is a very, I would say, at least for me, a very feels like a very different game. But some of the aspects that I really liked about this system, I can see some form of here in a implemented in a different way. It was a lot of differences, but there is this feel that I love about it. This is why I was really excited that VUCA picked up 1812. And by the way, I would like to thank VUCA for giving me a copy. They actually gave me a copy at PunchCon, so that was quite a while ago. So thanks to them for this really nice production that they did. As usual style, their player aids, like I can literally knock someone down with that. So that's this kind of sturdiness that you have. They do the kind of things that I really like the small standees for generals. I usually enjoy those quite a bit. They didn't even consider making figurines because that would be insane, and I'm glad they did. So cardboard standees, I love. Really nice, thick, rounded counters, also very cool. And as you're going to see when we're going to play, a beautiful map, beautiful cards. So that's actually quite nice. And actually, I'm going to bring the game to the stage so you can see a bit what we're talking about before we start playing. And we're going to play I think a round so people get a sense for what the system is like, how it works, and get a feel for the game. Or if you've already got the game at home and haven't put it on the table, have a better sense of how it plays, so you have a better time bringing it to the table, because I think it is a game that definitely deserves to be played and not stay on your shelf of shame, and is highly playable. So that's one of those games that would make that. Brian, do you want to give us a bit of an overview of the game as a whole, and then we'll talk about the situation specifically?
Yes, the game is an operational level series, and this game covers the 1812 invasion of Russia, which was a turning point in the Napoleonic Wars. The campaign was really characterized by lots of logistical challenges. This system is also focused on logistics and problems with command and control. For this scenario, I chose the retreat from Moscow because it's winter now, so I thought it would be fitting. And it starts with the French already in Moscow. They have decided that it's probably better to get out of Moscow and closer to France before they get cut off.
We have our boy Napoleon
Yes,
here in Moscow. We've got the big horsey guy in the south. Murat is over there, and we can see the situation is actually quite complicated. I would say, yes, you're a long way from home, but you're also spread out between Moscow and Prussia in a lot of small stacks, and it feels like Kutuzov is here down south, like from striking distance to Napoleon, with a big stack of army. But maybe one thing that we need to say is that leaders are linked to player mats where their units are on. So if you see a leader, it's not a good physical representation what you're going to see on the amount of units that they have. But I can tell you that Kutuzov is a threat, something that you need to know. So, for example, maybe I can find a way to show you the Kutuzov board. I'm going to show you so you have an idea of what each boards are. So I'm going to stop the screen and share just the board so you can have an idea. Brian and I have boards for each of our leaders. Those boards come in the game in the physical shape of a small player screen, so you would hide what the units are behind each of those. And you can see that for Kutuzov, I have another leader with me, Tormasov, and I have 7 strength points in infantry, 2 strength points in cavalry, and then I have some tired people. Can you maybe explain how, they are spent, right?
yeah, yeah. The game term is exhausted, so
Yeah,
it represents units whose morale has broken or who are so fatigued or ravaged by losses that they are combat ineffective. So
good.
they don't participate in combat, but they still eat during the attrition phase.
Yeah, so they are useless mouths to feed.
And just to correct you, Kutuzov has 1 cavalry and 1 Cossack strength point.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't see the. Yeah, that's a good point. My bad. I saw 2 horses and I was like, hey,
The
horses.
Cossacks are a special Russian unit that is often useless in battle, but very effective when doing pursuit,
Pursuit. Yeah.
yeah, and evasion.
Can you give us maybe an overview of those player screens? What do they say and what is important for players to know?
First up is the name, obviously, and then there are a number of stars representing that leader's seniority rating. The leader with the most stars in an area is the senior leader, and he is the only one whose abilities are used. Then leaders have various abilities. Kutuzov has 1 battle ability and 1 that affects his how he gives orders. So in battle, Kutuzov doesn't roll the die; it's automatically considered to be a 1, and he can play up to 2 battle cards. And
Normally, leaders would be only able to play 1.
yeah, normally you can only play 1. And during the when he's doing orders, he can change an order to a rally order. And rally orders in his area affect an additional strength point. So he's really good at strengthening the morale and cohesion of his army.
Nice. And what does the big -2 stands for?
That's the victory shift if he's lost. So if he's eliminated, you shift the victory point marker 2 spaces in favor of France.
Okay, so we're gonna go back to the board
Yes.
and see what's the situation, and talk maybe a bit about how do you win in this game. So you were already talking about VPs when we were talking about Kutuzov if you lose
Yeah.
him, and we can see that there is a VP track on the side next to the turn track. Do you want to explain a bit how this whole thing works, and maybe then dive into the initiative afterwards?
Will do. The victory track is a sliding track, so only one player can have the victory point marker at any time. And the victory track is shifted from if you lose a battle and suffer losses, the victory track is shifted depending on the number of losses you take. If you take a victory point city, you also shift the victory marker as many spaces as the number next to the city.
And we can see one of those victory cities here, like Mogilev, one victory point city, and also a city providing supply.
Yes,
Or yeah,
you can place a depot there, but
you
it
can
doesn't.
place a depot here. Yeah, like supply sources are the big colored ones for each faction, and this indicates that you can have a depot, and the depot would be represented by those cubes, right?
Yes, exactly. Then you can also get victory points for occupying spaces next to the opponent's supply sources, which is relevant for you because you are quite near.
Like this space, for example,
Yes,
if I moved here, I would also gain victory points.
you would at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the game, the French also shift the victory point marker towards the Russian, depending on the number of losses in his French casualties box. The French need to suffer as few losses as possible.
Which kind of makes sense to like
Yeah,
evaluate the
it's a,
success of the retreat. Yeah.
it's a very classic success criteria.
Yes. Yeah. 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 But I think it makes particular sense in for that specific campaign. And then you have this initiative system here that
Yes,
for people who played Strike of the Eagle will potentially it's one of the things that you would see. It's shaped differently, but I think the idea remains more or less the same, right?
yes, very much so. The player holding the initiative has some advantages in determining who executes orders first. That can be very important. And the initiative marker is shifted depending on whenever you lose a battle and hold the initiative, you lose initiative. And if you win a battle, when you hold the initiative, you advance the initiative if the battle is sufficiently large. So if you cause more losses than the initiative level, you advance your initiative.
So just to illustrate, it's now on the Russian side.
Yeah.
So I'm on level 1 of initiative. If I win a battle where I give you 1 casualty, I will get to the number 2.
Yes.
And next, I will have to do 2 casualties to get to number 3. And so it, yeah, as you say, like the to get more and more initiative, I need to win a bigger and bigger battles. And
Yes.
each battle that I will lose, whatever the SP lost, it could even be 0 SP lost. As long as I
Yes.
lose, it will go down. So yeah.
Exactly.
And then we have the turn track. We can see that it's divided in month, and then within a month you're going to have different rounds or I guess turns is the term in the game. Yeah. And I can see that you have regular turns, and then you have those R turns. Maybe
Yeah.
you want to explain how a mount is structured.
Yes. You start off with the resource step where you get your replacements and draw some cards, and then you go through 5 identical turns where you have run through the same sequence of play.
So what's going to be interesting is that this is the we get some cards here and we have to make them work for the following 5.
Unlike most games where you draw your full hand at the start and then start off with a very big hand and then gradually become uh, looser in cards. Here you actually only get 3 cards at the resource step, and then you get 1 card at the start of each of your turns. So it's much harder to micromanage your hand and plan in advance, and you're also not overloaded with options at the start of a month.
Yeah, so you have a bit more. You have to be a bit more reactive and adapt yourself to
Yeah,
new cards that are coming up. I think that's a nice change from other CDGs where you have quite a lot to do with a hand of cards when those are really big rounds. So I think that's actually quite nice. And I think on this bottom corner, and I guess on victory conditions and the situation, we have everything we need. I guess we can probably jump into the gameplay and start talking about what players are going to do.
Yes, I wanted one note on the
Okay.
overall situation in the scenario. If you zoom out, because you have Napoleon in Moscow with the Kutuzov close by, which is one problem for the French. There are also two other problems, and that's the army of Wittgenstein on the northern flank. So he's threatening to go down and cut the French link of depots to Napoleon. And south of those guys, we have another Russian army under Chichagov,
Here he
who's
is.
marching northwards to cut the French lines. So the entire army of Napoleon is in danger of being cut off from their supply lines to France.
Let me check at what I have in Wittgenstein. Okay. It's not it's not a
It's not.
big threat. I won't tell you what it is because you don't know, obviously. You have Brian has no idea about the setup. So
None.
everything is gonna be a surprise to him. So I'm having a quick check, a quick glance, and I can tell you that probably the south is a bit more dangerous than the north. So for people watching us at home, this is
But the
a bit
northern
of
army starts really close to.
yes, it is really close. Yeah, the southern one has to go up, and the southern one has a bit more people to feed. So that's also another problem that I have to figure out. Okay, interesting situation. Basically, I guess me as the Russian, I'm gonna try to cut the supply line that you are tracing from Austria, the Grand Duchy of Warsaw, and Prussia up
Yes,
to Moscow. So that's going to be mostly my objective while harassing you with Kutuzov back east. And I guess you are going to try to retreat in good order. That's basically
yeah,
the big vibe that people should expect from this. Of course,
because
we won't.
Napoleon is lost. He has a very hefty victory point penalty.
Oh yeah, what's the number for Napoleon?
For Napoleon, it's 10 victory points.
Woof. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, it is a problem. That's the problem when you have a head of state
Yes.
taking active part in combat, I guess. Something to think about.
Yes.
Now that we have the overall situation, we can follow up this very neat sequence of play. I'm just gonna show it briefly here, so you can see the sequence of play. Those were those resource phase that Brian was talking about. But then we're going to go through so that you see those turn 1 to 5. We're going to do those different things. And just for you to understand, we're going to draw a card, play those cards for potentially additional orders. Then we're going to place the orders, resolve the orders, and everything would make sense as we play. So I won't get into too much detail, but each time we do a step, I will explain what step we're doing. And if you have the document at home, you can follow along using those play rates. Step 1, draw a card. Do we do it or it's part of the setup in this case?
We draw a card. It's
We
not
draw a
part of
card.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so you'll have to believe us that we are drawing a card. So Brian and I have in the Vassal module our separate hands. At the beginning of this scenario, we have our dummy card that we can always play to pretend that we're playing a card and actually do nothing. And 3 cards in our hand that we had. You can either there are some suggestions in the playbook, but you can also draw random ones if you wish. And in our hand, we also have all those different orders, and we'll explain more about how orders work when we get to this. Now I have 4 cards in my hand, and I must say maybe that's one detail for the people who played Strike of the Eagle. I think the absence of a dummy card in Strike of the Eagle was a bit of a miss for me. And first time I played When Whales Fight. This is, I think, the first time I saw someone introducing a dummy card to the system, and I thought that was really the thing that was missing. So it's a very small detail, but it was a great improvement to the system, and I was happy to see that that's one wasn't the thing that you transposed into that new operational system that you created for Napoleonic warfare. So that was step 1, draw a card. Pretty easy, not much rule complexity here. And then we can play. Now we are in the play a card for additional order phase. So here you might want to talk a bit about orders, how many we have, and how we can increase that.
So at the beginning of a turn, you can play a card and increase your number of orders by the ops value on the card. And on top of that, you get 2 free orders of your choice, and then each side get 1 specific free order. Cavalry patrols for the Russians and forage for the French.
So just to explain, I will have, so orders are all the different things that you can ask your units to do on the board. And maybe I can explain the different orders. So we can do force march, cavalry patrol, we can have a regular march, we can have an evade maneuver, we can defend a position, we can rally in place, we can have a Cossack raid. As Brian was saying, we're talking about those Cossack units. They can be useful for a bit harassment of your opponents. You can place a depot. We talked a bit about those depot spots, and they would become a bit more obvious a bit later on. And then we can do forage. Those are the different orders. We have access to all of them. It's just that we cannot place as many as we wish. We are limited in that sense. So I have 1 cavalry patrol for sure, and 2 of any kind. But both Brian and I can play a card to increase the number of orders that we want to place. And we're going to place a card face down, like it's a secret. We're secretly going to bid on how many orders we want to have. And one of those cards can be the dummy card, which has no ops value. So that would be just pretending that we are doing something. So let me check so I'm going to have a quick look at my hand to see. Whew, I want to keep this. So Brian and I are gonna place 2 cards, as you can see, and I'm gonna zoom in on the top of the board here. So Brian doesn't see what I have, but it doesn't matter because I already put it. So they are both face down, and now we're gonna reveal to see how many extra orders we're gonna get.
Yes.
And we both chose 3 value cards. So we have 2 free orders, our special order that we get also plus 3. So that means that we're both going to place 6 of those wooden blocks, and we're going to do it simultaneously.
And we are also placing 4 dummy orders that have no function at all apart from confusing the opponent.
So we put it into the discard, right? Yeah, I'm going to discard yours.
Right click and discard.
Yeah, so I discarded yours also. And now we're going to start placing orders. So you're going to see blocks appear for the French. You're going to see the blocks that I put on my side. And like maybe you can just give a sense for what you think each faction should be doing on that first round.
Napoleon and Murat are trying to get out as fast as possible, and they will probably be force marching. But since the Russians hold the initiative, they can choose to execute a force march order first, so you have the option of force marching into one of these armies and pin it in place.
Yeah.
I might also decide to do an evade, so I can at least evade from that battle and get a little bit away from you. And then there are the options about the flanking forces. Should Wittgenstein attack, and should I defend? Because if he doesn't attack, my defend order is wasted. It could have been spent better on other areas. And then, that's the whole southern thing. That's also very potentially dangerous for me.
Oh, I don't remember. What does the cavalry patrol order does?
It allows you to check the content of an enemy stack in your own area or an adjacent area.
Okay.
But only if you have a cavalry or a Cossack strength point in your area.
And the Cossack raid, it's how many steps away?
Adjacent.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah, I'm done.
Yep.
You're done too?
Yes.
So Brian and I placed our orders on the map. I'm going to show you maybe around Moscow so you can see a bit more what it looks like. So you can see that the French stacks have orders placed on them. Obviously, I don't know what they are. And that's also part of the whole tension. They could be dummy orders. They could be any kind of orders. And you can see the orders that I placed. Well, some of them, those are stacked here, so you won't necessarily see each of them. But I can, move them around. So you can see what I've placed here. So as I said, there are different types of orders that you can see on my side for now. even if most of the orders are quite similar for me at this stage, but you will see more diversity as we go. And now I think what's really interesting is that orders are resolved in a specific sequence. This was our order placement phase. And now we are going to go into the order execution. So we're going to start by resolving all of the force march, right? Would you reveal all of the force march or one by one?
One by one.
Okay. And I decide who gets to resolve their first force march order.
Yes.
And I will decide that you can resolve your first one.
That would allow me to get away.
Yes.
But I actually want to resolve another order first. Here.
So you have a force march in Smolensk?
Yes, because I need to go to my depot here and protect that one.
Okay, so what does the force march do?
The force march allows all orders affect a force, and a force is 4 strength points unless there is a leader there who can use more strength points. And force march is a movement which is twice as fast as a normal march, but also give those strength points a penalty if they fight a battle later this turn. So they will fight with half effectiveness. And I will use it to move, and I will actually only move 3 and let one guy stay there.
So the idea for you is that you're trying to defend it, but what would be the urgent threat for this one? Like, is it?
If you cut off my depot, you destroy the depot, and then I lose a card from my hand, which is not good. But my forces will also suffer a dramatic level of attrition. Mark my units here with a marker to show that they will fight with less effectiveness.
Yeah, because they force marched.
Yep.
Okay, I will reveal force march order here.
Yes.
Oops. You can see it here on Kutuzov. So I can move up to 2 areas, and I will do 1, 2.
Yes.
And I will put, where's the counter for times? Can I right click on it or?
No, it's here.
Oh, it's here. Okay, great. Thanks. Now you can do another force march.
This one.
Do Unmasked, the one on Murat.
And Murat will move first to Moscow and then to Mosaisk.
Okay, so that was his first force march.
The strength point there will go to Murat's player screen.
Okay.
And Murat will get a marker.
Oh, I guess I could have left. What do you think about, like, from Kutuzov leaving a hungry hippo in Kaluga?
That would have been a very wise thing to do because I could have force marched to Kaluga.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it here.
A non-exhausted unit would probably be better.
Now I don't have any force march order, so you can resolve all of yours.
Yes, and I'm also out. So
okay,
that's it.
So that was it. Now we are going to execute the cavalry patrol orders. Yep. I have 1. Do you have any?
Nope.
Okay, so I had 1 here, and I just want to see what's in Moscow.
Yes, you have Napoleon.
Oh, surprise.
Yes, and he's with Davout and Yushin. And then there are 3 Imperial Guard strength points, and 4 infantry strength points, and 1 exhausted guard and 2 exhausted infantry strength points.
That's it?
That's it. That's all that's left of the Grande Armée.
That's the Grande Armée?
Yes.
Feels like the Hungry Army to
yes.
me. Good. So that was my cavalry patrol. So I'm going to return it to the player's hand. So that was all of the cavalry patrols resolved. And then we can execute the march orders.
Yes.
I think I will go first.
Yes.
I'm going to execute. I'm going to execute the march order here in the north with Wittgenstein, and he's going to move here. I guess it's not a big surprise.
Actually, I'm a bit surprised because you were so dismissive of Wittgenstein before.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. Like I'm not gonna.
And I fell for it totally. Yes.
Do you want to play a march order?
Yep.
So tell me where, and I can zoom in on this area.
Napoleon in Moscow.
Napoleon in Moscow. The Great March is starting.
I guess I can either move to join Murat, that's the safe choice, or I can try to wreck you, and I will do that.
Yes, good. So you can return this to the player's hand. I'm actually thinking of so I'm gonna unmask this.
Yes.
So I have a march order with Platov,
Yes.
and I only have cavalry units in there. So could
Yes,
I
so
move two
two.
areas? So I could actually join and meet you and
Yes.
meet Napoleon, which could be fun. One,
Yes. But
two.
he only has Cossacks, so they will mostly be watching.
Oh yeah, that's true. Hmm.
Unless you have one of the battle cards that makes them not
Let me
use.
let me check at my battle cards to see if there is a. Ah, actually no. I think I'm gonna move Platov in a place where he can be annoying. So he's gonna do 1, 2, and stop here
That is very annoying.
because then he can radiate his raids all around, so which
Yes.
I kind of like. So now you can do another move.
And I'm all out.
You're all out of moves. Then I'm gonna do my other moves. So I'm gonna unmask this, and so that's a bit bold, but I'm gonna move from here to here to have a second unit coming in.
Yes, and he's coming across the river,
Yeah,
so he will get a half effectiveness mark.
yeah, but I don't care. I just want to have 2 entry points.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to. I made a mistake. I should have force march with him.
Now you can just force march.
Yeah, let's say I force march. So that would be 2 steps. 1, 2. And those are all of my march orders. So now that we've done this, we can execute the evade orders.
Yes. And I don't have any. And evade
Big.
orders are only executed if you are in an area where the enemy entered.
Yeah, of course, it's not a free move. And now we are going to get to the fence step where the violence happens. So we are going to resolve battles. And when we resolve battles, the defend orders are going to become important.
Yes.
So we have 2 battles that
Yep.
are here, and I guess it's the player with initiative who decides in which order.
You take them in order of the smallest first, and
Okay.
to the largest. And since the number of string points are secret, then you just you resolve those battles with no leaders first, then battles with leaders on one side, and then battles with leaders on both sides.
And if there is a tie, is it still the initiative player deciding?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. But then in that case, so those 2 battles have leaders only on one side.
I have. Yeah, we also have a battle. No, we don't have a battle.
No, we don't have a battle here. So we have a battle here, and both of them have a leader. Has a leader on one side. So I
Yeah.
could pick this one,
They
even though
also-
I know it's also the smallest battle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no. We have another battle.
Yes.
We have a third one. Forgot about this. Kutuzov is just gonna wreck this guy alone over there.
Or is he? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. He definitely is. That would be quite a battle card. Like that would be called the hidden Imperial Guard or something. But yeah. that would be surprised. But I still want to do the one on the further west first. Oh no,
Yes.
actually no. That's a mistake. I'm going to do the one with Kutuzov first. So
So,
here, let's look at the forces in presence.
yep. But first we play battle cards before we reveal.
Oh, before we reveal the okay, I'm going to play this battle card.
And I will play this one.
So I played the dummy.
And surprise, me too.
You played the dummy. Oh, you didn't invest in that battle? That's surprising.
No. If you play a battle card with a leader in a battle with a leader, you actually get to draw one battle card, one card as a replacement at the end of a battle.
Yeah, but I kind of like the battle cards I have.
No.
so,
And
so
that makes
that should make you sad. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So now we reveal the strength in presence. I'm just gonna bring the one that are unspent or unexhausted. I mean.
Yes.
So this is what I have.
Yep.
So 7 infantry, 1 Cossack, 1 cavalry.
Yes.
And they are halved. So let's go to the process of the battle. And as you also on the other side of the player aid, I'm gonna show it to you. You also have the battle resolution sequence, so you can follow along looking at this while we are resolving the battle. So we played and revealed the battle card, and now we're combating the combat value and roll the battle dice. So the combat value.
That's a number of string points, which can be modified. Yours are modified by being halved for force march. And the Cossack has a special modifier of being times with a 0 for battle purposes.
Yeah. So in that case, so they all count as, so I have 8 strength points halved.
Yeah.
So that means that I'm at 4.
Yep. And I'm at 1.
And you're at 1. And then on the battle table, I can see that 4 is gonna give 1 enemy loss.
Yep.
But I get to roll a die. But I'm with Kutuzov, so I know.
Kutuzov doesn't roll it.
Yeah, Kutuzov doesn't roll a die, but that wouldn't change anything. It's 4 plus 1, 5.
Yeah.
So I'm in the same column.
Yes, and I roll 1 plus a 4, but it's a 4 in summer only. So in winter, it's a 0.
Ah, that's actually not great. I think.
No.
I think the term is not great. So you're staying at 1, meaning that you don't give me any step losses.
None.
So you can assign losses.
Yeah, and I suffer 1 loss, and the first loss is actually being exhausted. 1 fresh strength point is exhausted.
Yeah.
And that's the only loss I suffer. So, but now I have an army consisting only of exhausted strength points, which is alone with fresh enemy units.
Yeah.
So that eliminates me.
Good. That means that I'm gonna get 1 step of initiative.
Yes.
Boop. This is why I wanted to do this battle first, and I'm gonna put the units back on my board.
Yes.
Is
and
there
the location where the battle took place is being ravaged due to the battle. So I increase the devastation level there by 1.
And I guess the devastation level is going to have an impact on the attrition.
Yes. You will find find something to eat there.
Fair enough. I'm going to delete this, and Kutuzov, the battle here is resolved. So everything is back in place. And now we can do this battle.
Yes.
We can play cards. I'm going to play this battle card.
And I may have discarded my dummy card.
This is not clever, Brian.
No, but it's not the first time I do something that's not clever. I have a long history of doing that.
That's very true, unfortunately.
Yes. Yes, I will play.
Oh, I didn't look at the power of Wittgenstein. It felt so useless to me that.
Yes, I played my card, and you played your card.
Yeah, I did. So I'm playing enveloping moves.
Yes, and I'm playing Saint-Cyrs.
Saint-Cyr's 6 score. Play if defending. Place a defend order in the air.
Exactly what the cards that were placed historically at this battle at this time. So that's kind of fun.
Annoying. And mine does. If we have, so I have more fresh strength point than you in the battle. So if it's a draw, it would still be considered one by me.
Yes.
But will it be in draw in that case? This is probably unlikely.
But actually, you will win even if it's not a draw. The battle will be considered to be a draw, but you win the draw battle. So I get to retreat, but you don't do any pursuit.
My combat value, I'm going to bring what I have in my leader on the board. It's not much. So I have 3 units here.
Yes.
And I have a half strength unit here. And I guess it's not rounded up. So I only have a strength of 3.
Yes.
Then I roll a dice.
Yep.
And it's a 2. So it's a strength of 5.
Yes.
Which is almost good.
And I have 2 fresh that are doubled due to my battle card. Plus 2.
So you're at 6.
Yes.
So that would be 2 steps for me. Oh, do I have a benefit from attacking from 2 different locales?
Nope, not unless you have a battle card that gives you it.
Oh, that was actually a mistake from me then. I shouldn't have done this. Okay, fair enough. So 2 step loss for me, 1 step loss for you.
Yes, but then I suffer 1 fewer losses because I have a defend order.
Oh, yeah.
And you actually suffer 1 additional loss because I'm in a fortress.
Oh, so that's 3 losses. So the first one, so if I look at assigning losses, so I need to take 2 exhaustion and 2 elimination?
Didn't you suffer the 3 losses in total, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So first you exhaust 1 fresh,
Yep.
then you eliminate 1 fresh, and then you exhaust 1 fresh.
Oh, it alternates like this. Okay. Good.
But then the battle becomes an automatic draw that you win.
Yeah. And why do I win this draw? Because I have more fresh units.
Yes.
So you have to retreat.
Yes. And my card is permanently removed.
And mine is discarded.
And normally there would be a chance for cavalry pursuit after a battle, but not if it's a draw.
Yeah, and I don't have cavalry anyway.
No.
Do I destroy this supply depot?
Yes, you do, and the devastation level would be increased, but it's already at
maxed out. Yeah.
And because I lost a depot, I have to discard a card from my hand.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are no
initiative shifts. Yeah,
because it's a draw.
Yeah, and I didn't give you any casualty anyway, so
no, and there would be no victory shifts for a draw either.
And now we have the last battle.
Yes.
So my troops are already clear. It's already clear what I had there, so you can probably reveal your fresh troops.
Yes, I will.
I'm gonna move away like this so we can see a bit more what's there. So I have two cavalry, 1 infantry, and I have a Cossack, but a Cossack is kind of useless.
Oh, we forgot to play battle cards first.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm playing this. I'm not looking at what you have.
I'm not playing anything.
Well, you're playing the dummy, right?
Yeah, I'm playing the dummy.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I played the dummy too.
Yeah. I wanted to play a card, but...
Yeah, you lost it?
Yeah. I had to discard another, and then now I don't have anything to.
That's very sad.
Yeah.
Okay. So so you have 4 strength points in infantry, and I guess your
The
is
guard
the guard.
timed 1.5.
Yeah. So you have 4 in with the guard.
Yes.
So that's an overall of 8,
Yes.
and I have only 3.
Yes. And then Napoleon has a +1.
Oh, so you're at 9.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're on the verge of having the table battle going to the 3 step plus side.
Yes.
I'm gonna roll a die. The thing is that with me at 3, there is no chance of me going higher than this. So it's a bit sad. And I rolled a 2 once again. So I'm at 5.
Roll the wrong die. That's the first die.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm at so 3 plus 1. I'm at 4.
And so I'm just at 9.
Which is good enough. So I take 2 steps, and you take 1.
Yes.
Was I in I don't have anything benefiting me because of the location.
Nope.
So 2 steps. I'm gonna have 1 infantry. 1 infantry. No. What should I do? Actually, I'm gonna have 1 cavalry exhausted and lose 1 infantry.
Yes.
And then they're all gonna move back to Kaluga.
Yes. And now we check for a cavalry pursuit. And
yes.
If cavalry number is higher than yours, then you suffer the difference in cavalry numbers as eliminations.
Oof. And does the Cossack work as
yes,
cavalry in that case?
The Cossacks counts as 2 cavalry.
So I have 2. I have 1 Cossack, so that's 2. I have 1 cavalry, so that's 3, and then I have an exhausted cavalry, which I think doesn't apply.
No, it doesn't help.
So that's 3 for me. How many cavalry do you have?
0.
Okay, so yeah.
No.
So I think I'm fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so they all go to Kaluga, and I think that's this battle. I've lost the battle, so I'm going to lose 1 step of initiative.
Yes. And you only lost 1 eliminated strength point, so no victory point shift.
No victory point shift. Oh, wait a minute. There's an exhausted infantry I didn't move. Okay. And I think so that resolves all of the battles. So that was step 9 of the sequence of play for an order. Now we can execute rally orders.
Yes.
Which I guess you probably have a few of those.
I do.
Yes. I have none, so you can go and have fun.
Yes. Schwarzenberg has 1. So he gets...
So where are you?
Here.
Okay, yeah.
So he gets to rally 1 exhausted strength point back to fresh. And had he been on a depot, it would affect 2 infantry.
Yeah.
Instead of just 1. But he's not. And
that's it. That's it? That's the only one?
Yep.
Okay. Now we have the Cossack raids. I don't have any Cossack raids because I was not in a good position to do some Cossack raids, but I will certainly do some in the future. And now we can execute the place depot orders.
Yes.
Do you have any?
Nope.
I don't have any either. And now we have the attrition phase.
Yes. And actually, before we do that, I left Moscow empty for strength points, so it reverts to back to Russian control.
Okay, so you're going to lose that depot and discard another card?
The depot will stay.
The depot will stay. Okay.
Yeah, but the city itself will become Russian controlled in terms of victory points.
So I get 5 victory points. It goes down from 16 to 11.
Yes.
How would you visualize that it's on my side now?
All areas are Russian controlled
unless they are occupied. Okay, makes sense.
First, you roll a weather die roll, which will affect all attrition checks for both sides this turn.
Okay, and so I rolled the normal d6, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna roll this. So it's gonna be a 4 for all of us.
Yes, and a 4 on the weather table for winter is a +1.
Yeah.
So we modify our attrition checks by +1.
Okay.
And then we each go through all our areas and cross-reference the number of string points there with the distance to the nearest depot. And the table will then tell you how many losses you suffer.
Okay.
Yes, and the devastation markers that we see across the map, they will modify the number of string points by the devastation level.
I guess let's go through one specifically so we can highlight it. And Kaluga is completely open, so let's look at this one. So
Yes.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because we count the exhausted. 6, 7 actually. Let me check. I think I have 7 steps.
Yes.
No, I have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So I have 6 in Kaluga. It is on a supply depot, so my distance to the nearest depot marker is 0.
Yes.
Plus
And then
1 because of the die roll. So I'm
yeah,
on the 1 column, and then I have 6 steps. And in that case, that means no step loss.
you add 1 to the number of steps due to the weather die roll.
Oh, wait a minute. So the weather die roll doesn't move the column?
No, it increases the number of steps.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wait a minute. So I missed that. So it would be, so I would be at 0, 6. So 6 strengths, 0 distance. So that would be nothing. And to this nothing, I add 1. Right?
No, you add 1 to the size. So you have 6 steps plus 1 for the weather die roll.
Oh, so I go into the 7, 8 down.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
this
then
is okay.
you add 1 for each level of devastation, but there are none there. And then because
I think there are
there is,
in Kaluga. Yeah,
yes,
2 devastation. So let's go again. So
yeah,
I have 6 steps, right?
yes,
Plus 1 because of the die roll. So I'm at the 7, 8 line.
yes,
My distance is 0, so I'm still on the 0 column. But I do add 2, and I add 2 to the distance, or I add 2 to the number of units.
2 to the number of units.
So I'm actually on the 12, 14 line now.
Yes. But then Kaluga is a major city,
Yeah.
key city. So
Okay.
that's a more urbanized and more agriculturally developed area, more populated. So you reduce the number of steps there by 3.
So I have plus 3 minus 3, so I stay on the 6 line.
Yes,
Okay, so nothing happens in Kaluga.
nothing happens.
I think the next big one is probably Kutuzov, because the other ones are too small for it to really matter. Platov is 2 away, and he has 2 steps.
I think Chichagov might have some problems.
Yeah, I think he will. But I'm going to do Kutuzov first because that's probably the most risky one.
Yes.
So let's do Kutuzov together so we're sure that we are good. So
Yep.
Kutuzov is 2 steps away from the nearest depot.
Yes.
He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
And
7, 8,
when you
9,
calculate the
10,
distance,
11.
Kutuzov is 2 spaces away by a road, which is good. But if he
Yeah.
had to trace through the small lines, they would count as 2 spaces.
Yeah.
Each.
So now I'm 2 away. So I'm at the 9, 11 line, plus 1 because of the die roll, and plus 2 because of the devastation marker. So that puts me at the 21 or more. It's not a major city. It's not a key city.
It's not, you don't shift spaces. You just add to the total number of string points.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm adding to the total, but I'm already at the bottom line. I'm already at 21 or more.
But
So
no, you're not. How many string points does Kutuzov have?
2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm
Yes.
already at 11.
Yes.
Then plus 1
for the.
So it goes to 13. It's not. I'm not going spaces.
No, you just.
Okay. So that's plus 3 overall. So that would put me at the. That would put me at 14. So I'm just the one below. Okay.
Yes.
It's less deadly than what I thought. So the result is 1d.
Yes.
And so
So
that means that I'm going to lose 1 step and increase devastation by 1.
exactly. And the loss step is either each attrition loss is either flipping one fresh strength point to exhausted or eliminating 2 exhausted strength points.
I think I have 2, so I think I'm gonna roll like take 2 to exhausted, then kill 2. So I have a good so I'm gonna lose 2 units. And I
Yes.
don't have any victory point penalty for using
Nope.
units. No, so
Nope.
that's fine. I can cycle through them.
You can.
So that's that, and then the other tricky one is going to be Wittgenstein. He's 1, 2, 3 away. Wittgenstein, how many? I don't have that many people on that. I actually have only 4, so I'm 3 away. I'm at 4. And to this, I'm gonna add 3 for the devastation, so that's gonna be 7. Plus 1, so that's gonna be 8. So that's 1 and increased devastation, but devastation is already maxed out.
And then you suffer 1 additional loss. If devastation cannot be increased, then you suffer 1 additional loss.
Oh, so that's gonna be 2.
Yes.
So he's going to be. So 1 is gonna be exhausted, and then 2 are gonna die.
Good.
That's a brutal winter, I would say.
Very brutal.
And I need to check also, Chikakov, who's big enough to have some problems. And you're doing yours on your side, right?
Yes.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alors, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is going to be increased. So then this is going to be eliminated. This is going to be eliminated, and this is going to be exhausted. That's actually pretty spicy. This attrition phase. But my idea was to move as far as I could. Actually, I might have an issue with Platov too. I need to check because there is a short connection for him. So he's actually 3 away. He's at 2. He's 3 away. But then I need to add 1. Oh no, I'm just right. Just in the right spot. Because I wanted to move as far as I could to then place supply depot in places that are more practical for me. I wanted to place 1 in Polotsk and 1 in what's the name of the city? Ness. Oh, I can.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah. Who knows?
Very sure I'm mispronunciation.
Yeah, but yeah. So so to be actually closer to the action. So maybe take a hit on that first turn and then be in a better operational position.
Yeah, and that's a constant trade-off when playing this, because ideally you want to move slowly and constantly advance your depot chain, but that's often too slow and too costly in order. So it's way faster to just move as far as possible and then build your depot and then extend to the next level. But that's more costly in attrition.
But so in this case, you would still have benefited from the depot in Moscow.
Yes, because they still have their stocks.
Yeah. So now I have a strong incentive to, and just the Cossack moving from the north to Moscow would be enough to destroy the depot, right?
Yes, but it will be destroyed in the next step, because the line along the road to the next depot in the chain is broken by Kutuzov.
Oh, it's going to be destroyed now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's more than 4 steps away. Okay, because that was attrition. We're done with attrition, right?
Yes.
And then we do the final step of a round, which is line of communication. So a deport marker must place a line of 4 communications up to another one.
Yes.
So 4 by road, so the big dark ones, and this one would have to use a track to connect, and it would be 1, 2. Yeah, so So you're disconnected in Moscow.
Yes. So I'm removing that depot, but there is no further penalty.
Yeah. Okay. So
And
you don't get to discard a card for
no,
this one.
and
And that.
just a note on the attrition. Murat had a forage order.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so
important.
he will suffer less attrition losses.
And how does the attrition order affect this? Does it give him?
It
It
reduces
gives.
attrition losses by 2.
Oh, so it reduces the actual losses.
Yeah.
Oh, this is really good. Yeah, nice. So, oh, but the forage order could be placed in a space in advance.
Yes, if you have a strength point there.
Yeah, so you could place it and then move in if you have a strength point, so you can actually time your.
Yes. So
Yeah,
if you have a small force moving ahead, setting up depots or setting up forage locations for preparing the ground for the larger army coming behind,
yeah,
you will suffer way less attrition.
okay. And I guess that's the end of one round.
It is.
And now we will go to turn 4 of October
Yes.
and do exactly the same thing all over again.
Yes.
Good. So I think that was hopefully a good illustration of how the game plays. You have a more like a better, I guess, understanding of how the game flows, and maybe we can talk a bit about the future. So the game has been out for how long now? Like 3-4 months,
Uh,
something like this.
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
And the reception has been quite good so far. Like I've
Yes.
read some really good things about it.
Yeah,
Did
it's
you feel like
surprisingly
some?
good. I'm humbled by the positive responses on Board Game Geek.
And did you hear some people talking about the series and its connection to Strike of the Eagle, or that was not actually really being discussed?
A couple of people have said that it was a nice evolution from the Strike of the Eagle series.
Yeah, and I must say, for me, it is too. When we're playtesting this in Denmark already, I feel like it was quite different, and I really like the way it evolved. I think it's a really nice evolution, and you adapted it in a way that makes really a lot of sense for Napoleonic campaigns. Like everything thematically makes sense, and you have those kinds of problems that you would see around supply at this scale, but also coordinating your attacks, concentration of forces, and finding the right spot to pick a fight, which I really like. Quite interesting in that regard. But I guess that based on the positive replies like positive answers from the players that we got from this one, I guess there is some plans for future entries in the system. So what's coming up next for this?
Next up is the logical successor, 1813, The Struggle for Germany,
Yeah,
which is, yeah, the campaigns in Germany, both the spring campaign and the campaign in the autumn after the truce period. The very same system, but with a few twists to represent the difficult aspects of that campaign. And it will be, whereas 1813 was the French marching a long way to the east and then marching a long way to the west again. 1813 will see two much more evenly sized armies fighting it out along a long front. So there will be lots of battles and, yeah, lots of action.
and I guess less attrition.
Very, very much so. Yes, its vision table has been adjusted to that theater.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. And any plans for future releases?
Yes. I also have an 1812 game set in Spain.
Yeah.
So covering the campaign with the Battle of Salamanca and the Anglo-Portuguese drive up to Burgos, and then the French counteroffensive that drove them back into Portugal again.
Yeah. So most of them are quite big. Are you considering having a tinier one, maybe an intro level? Because when I see this, I'm thinking English speakers usually love the Waterloo campaign for some weird reason, and I think the campaign is actually fun to represent, and it could be on a compared to the battle, the campaign is more fun to represent
Yeah,
than the
I have only one principle as a game designer, and that is
never
I
do
will
Waterloo.
do a Waterloo game.
Yeah, but if you want, I could do the Waterloo campaign, I guess, as a small introductory,
But there is actually in the 1813 game, the spring campaign
Yeah.
is very suitable for an intro level game
Oh,
because the forces are much smaller and it's shorter in duration and it's a much more simple operational situation.
yeah, because that's the thing that I was thinking about. I think this it's a really good system, and the rules are quite simple, as people might have seen, but the complexity comes from like the situational
Yeah,
complexity, which
yeah,
is
true.
what I think makes the game interesting. Like it's not the specific details of the rules that makes it complex. It's really all of the options that you have, figuring
Yeah.
out, understanding the situation that you're in, coming up with a plan that is reasonable and hopefully react when things don't go your way, because this is something that would happen in this game but also in others where you have those hidden orders, is that you have a plan and then the plan hits reality, and there is always a bit of like things usually don't go according exactly to plan. So the complexity comes from this,
Yes,
and in 1812 it can feel somewhat overwhelming because it's
that's
a
true.
rather big and complex
Yeah,
situation. And I was thinking that the system would benefit for new players from a situation that is maybe a bit more manageable. So if there is this in the next one, I think that's actually
there
really
is.
really good.
And I'm also toying around with the idea of doing a game on the Finland War between Russia and Sweden
Yeah.
during the Napoleonic Wars.
Oh, that could be super interesting and quite an
Yes,
unusual topic too. So that would
yes,
be
very much.
yeah,
But
that would be
also
quite
the
nice.
system, which is based on attrition and logistics
Yeah.
a lot.
Super interesting. But anyway, thanks, Brian, for taking the time showing this to us. Once again, thanks to VUCA for providing a review copy to enable us to do this video. Very much looking forward to the future iterations in the series. Also hoping playing this in person at conventions in the future, or potentially I think I have a few players in the area that are actually interested in trying this out, because that's the thing. I've heard some really positive feedbacks, but not a lot of people have a copy or necessarily have played it. The people who did, like,
Yeah,
kind of rave about it on BGG, but it feels like it's still like reaching its audience. So I'm also
yeah.
hoping to show
Yes,
it to people
I would
around me.
love to have twice the sale and then a bit more negative feedback.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah, be
that would be nice.
station.
Good, but I hope it will grow, and especially as a series. I think it's always nice because then once you have the series rules in your mind, it apply like you don't have. It looks like you're not going to have radical changes between the
Nope.
different boxes, which would make it really worth it to wrap your head around
Yes.
getting into it. But yeah, when you have the new one coming up, we're excited to actually do another teach and play to talk about it. And
Graphics work is starting in January. So
oh, so it's coming. It should. We could have at the end of next year the second entry
yep,
in that series.
and
That's
probably
actually
before that.
that's actually really good. Meaning that you'll have a nice
Yeah,
schedule, I guess, of releases. So that could be actually quite great.
and
Uh,
playtesting is also underway with the volume 3. So there is there is
some
progress.
yeah, some good momentum.
Yeah,
That's also one thing that I like about VUCA is I feel like once they're committed on a project, they are actually kind of delivering on it. So
yes,
that's
yeah,
really
yeah.
nice.
Super nice to work with.
Yeah, great. But once again, Brian, thanks for being here. Looking forward to having you again. And if you're watching this video, feel free to subscribe. And if you wish to support what we do here, you can donate on Ko-fi. I will add a link in the description, and that will also give you access to our Discord server. Thanks, everyone, and see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.